Welcome everybody to the Area 111 live stream. This is your host RH coming at you again from Central Florida. We got a very important, I call a very important transmission information to share tonight involving enhanced defensive posture, and you could actually say DEFCON. Now, DEFCON, Defense Readiness Condition, okay, that's classified. That's classified. Nobody out there knows what DEFCON it is. It's classified, you know, far as the military concerns and the commander in chief, probably the Security Council, White House Security Council, they'll know what the DEFCON is. But I want to try to tone down these. I'm trying to be polite and respectful to these people in the Mockingbird media and people like Lindsey Graham calling for all in. You know, all in. He's taunting President Trump to go all in. And they're waiting. They're waiting. With their coup. Right? So we have to be level-headed throughout all this stuff. I'm going to try to be, and welcome everybody. Welcome Tracy, Tanya, everyone. T3, great to see you here. I haven't seen you in a while, man. So I don't want to keep talking about my career, but there's some people out there, they have no idea about command and control, defensive planners, offensive planners. Okay, I'm gonna share some vital information. It's not an OPSEC violation, by the way. Operation Security, where we're informing the enemy where our troops are real time and what's going on next. What's this operation going to be about? Where they're going? What are they intending to do? Oh, we got all these RC-135 tanker aircraft flying over to the Middle East. Oh my gosh. Right? Trying to terrify people. That's great clickbait, by the way. For people that don't know nothing about this topic. And, you know, it's ridiculous. Now, the last time I heard this information, we have about 100,000 U.S. citizens in Israel. I don't know if they got out before or whatever. They were basically, we have to fly fighter escorts sometimes to protect these commercial airliners from being shot down. Okay? That's what we have to do. I won't talk about it anymore other than what I just said. It's a crazy world out there. And I like to remind people that Iran isn't by themselves. They are joint partnerships, military partnerships with both China, Russia, and North Korea. No matter what you think about those countries, they are partners with Iran. They all three have nuclear weapons. I'd like to remind some of these experts out there what we're facing and why it's necessary for enhanced defensive postures. We can make that plural. Postures, plural. So, excuse me if I'm a little bit upset right now, but I'm trying to keep these idiots with these itchy little button fingers and itchy little trigger fingers from causing a lot more deaths than we can ever imagine. Remember, what have we learned recently? Okay, what have we all learned recently if you've been paying attention? Iran is using more advanced ballistic missiles that have struck Tel Aviv, struck targets in Israel. They took out a oil depot in Israel. Oh, why are all the RC-135 tanker aircraft flying over to the Middle East? Oh, it's for all in? No, it's not for all in. We got troops in Iraq. We have U.S. bases in Iraq. You know, Iraq borders Iran. Okay, there was an oil tanker in the port of Hormuz or whatever you call it. I forgot the name. It's not really that important. Just say on the coast of Iran, southernmost Straits of Hormuz, I think it's called, right? An oil tanker, about 20 million gallons of oil on that tanker was just hit. Oh, RH, why are the RC-135 tanker aircraft flying over the Middle East? Oh, they're going all in. That's an operation. Israel isn't even going all in, by the way. Russia removed a call for all their people to evacuate Tehran. China called for all their people to evacuate Tehran. President Trump warned all the people in Tehran, Iran, to evacuate. They're trying to leave with what? They are only allocated 20 liters of gasoline. Oh, RH, what are the RC-135s doing? Oh, we're going all in. No, we are not. It's an enhanced defensive posture. What do you have? You keep on hearing them say, oh, 30 RC-135s are tanker aircraft are flying over the Middle East. What do they not see? You can't see what you can't see, right? Do I need to go any further than that? They're not going to squawk for you to pick them up. They're not going to, never mind. They can't even, they could do that if they wanted to. I'm pretty sure. But that kind of basically defeats stealth, doesn't it? We don't need to know exactly where they're going, because that would be, I didn't know, I wouldn't talk about it. People, we need to calm down and we need to pray for level-headed people, and we need to pray for intelligence counsel for the President of the United States. I mean, what side are these people on anyways? A time like this, you think they come together, go, okay, we're going to try to minimize this stuff, but what has to happen? You can't have a regime in this world in the 21st century keep calling for death to America and threatening to wipe Israel off the map. Whether you hate Israel, you vehemently hate Trump, you hate Jews, whatever your hatred is, put it aside and think logically. You know what the next step is after Iran acquired ballistic missiles, advanced ballistic missiles that struck Tel Aviv? And I believe an oil depot inside Israel. An oil depot was struck. I don't know exactly what it was hit by. Could have been hit by a drone, but I don't think so. I think it was a ballistic missile. Okay, that ballistic missile, those ballistic missiles that hit Tel Aviv, they destroyed blocks of civilian quarters, apartments. Blocks. What is the next step for Iran? What we're worried about? What are we even doing there? to keep Iran from getting a nuclear warhead. Why? Just a nuclear warhead. Why not a nuclear weapon? They already have the delivery system. You don't hear anybody talking about that, do you? Not a single one. They already have the method to deliver a nuclear warhead. If they can wipe out 3 blocks of civilian apartment complexes in Tel Aviv, what do you think they can wipe out with just one nuclear warhead armed on a ballistic missile? We have not taken out, or Israel has not taken out all those ballistic missiles yet. They're mobile. They're camouflaged. We talked about the satellite reconnaissance, right? Think about it in those terms. There's windows of opportunity. And there are times when there's no windows of opportunity to take out the threat. We are sending KC-135 refuelers to Iraq to set up CAP birds. You know what CAP birds are? Combat Air Patrol. Anything that flies in a certain kill zone is what? They're killed. That includes ballistic missiles. It includes hostile bomber aircraft, fighter aircraft, anything, drones, anything that flies in that kill box is dead. That's an enhanced defensive posture. Go get General Flynn, go get any general worth their salt and ask him if RH is right. Do it. If I'm wrong, have them come on my live stream. I'll invite them to my live stream. They can come in and make a comment in the comment section or in the chat. I welcome them. You know, when you get people, when we basically, it's bad enough for the Iranian people that are there peacefully and they've been under a occupation since 1979, a terrible occupation, an oppressive occupation, terrible. Anybody knows about the Persian history before 1979? They know they were just, they remind me of Americans. In the 70s, early 70s, even mid 70s, until 1979. Yeah, Tracy, welcome. Thank you. Now, I try to stay calm, but, I didn't even want to do a live stream this afternoon. Well, I was going to make it movie day or afternoon, but I keep seeing all this stuff, and it's just it drives me nuts. It makes me wonder, who are these people working for anyways? To say all this stuff. Donald Trump needs to go all in. We are not directly involved with a war between Israel. It's a special military operation. It's not war. Israel did not declare war on Iran, especially the people. They've already made that perfectly clear in public speeches. Netanyahu, whether you like them or not, we get the message. We understand the message. This is not an all-out war. It's basically a preemptive defensive operation to keep them from lobbing one of those nuclear warhead-armed ballistic missiles into Tel Aviv or into Jerusalem, I think that would be the end of Iran for good. Unfortunately, at least for the current leadership or the military, if they do that. And they remember, death to America. When are we going to take those threats seriously? You can't do this half, you know what? Half donkey, right? Half donkey. You got a half donkey running around, right? You can't do it half donkeyed. You can't. There has to be, the people have to select their, or elect or whatever, select their new leadership, their new government. Whether Khomeini goes in exile, whatever, you know, the guy's name is, not being disrespectful to his name. I can't pronounce it, whatever. Khomeini, whatever, the supreme Ayatollah, whatever leader over there in Iran. If he goes in exile to Russia, hey, let Russia deal with him. But they shouldn't be allowing them to stoke up more acts of terrorism around the world. Oh, you remember before 1979, we were strong allies with the Shah of Iran. And that's what the No Kings is all about, right? You got Intifada, right? And you got Antifa. Intifada, and you got, they're the same people. They're wearing the same headgear that you see over there on October, whatever, in Gaza, whatever. I mean, never mind. I support law and order type people. I don't care what they wear on their head. They are here. That's why, in my opinion, I hope we're at a heightened defensive readiness posture. I hope we are. You know, sometimes you don't want to put your troops on a heightened defensive posture because it might signal to any other paranoid leader out there or leaders out there that might think that's, they're going to attack us now. That's not what it's for. For 4 years, they allowed the invasion into our country. The old Biden clan, right? The deep state, however you want to call them. For 4 years, they allowed an invasion. Along with that invasion is a foreign military and terrorist insurgency into our country. They have not been held accountable yet. None of them. Even after all the deaths from fentanyl alone, if we're just thinking about that alone, and you think about the riots, just that alone, they should be arrested. They should be arrested immediately, but I don't know. Maybe it's so many of them because it's both sides of the aisle, right? If you're talking about the political aisles, they're on the both sides of the aisle. Aisle, not owl. Like, ooh, 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 ooh. I mean, I got to calm myself down too, man. I got to get my blood pressure. Somebody can take my blood pressure, please. Calm down, Art. That's what they used to say to me when I first joined this live stream and stuff, right? Calm down. I remember I forgot what the guy's name, David or something like that. Calm down, RH. Calm down. Calm down. Yes, you're right. Calm down. Because it takes away from the message, right? Remember, I don't like war. I like national defense, defense. You know, and also we have to we have to consider the intel that we don't have, that we're not read into. General Flynn can talk about that. I mean, he can talk about being read into classified information and what that means. I'm not talking about specifics now. I'm talking about, in this case, with the special military operation that Israel is carrying out in Iran, right? So, yes, when you have no-fly zones like the southern and northern no-fly zone, like we had in Iraq for like 10 years, you got tanker aircraft as part of those operations. And it's very, very costly too, I should add. Ben Dykes, the veteran biker. No, if you put the link or whatever, okay, I can remember that. What's the name of his channel? Oh, by the way, in the Strait of Hormuz, that tanker that was just recently hit. I also want to say something too about Dubai. Dubai, go check out the skyrise that was on fire. They got all the people. I don't know how they got all those people out alive, but I don't know if there's foul play involved. They said the marina. I want y'all to check that out. Now, remember, I'm not read into it. I'm just going by what's out there in the public domain. If I was read into it, I would not talk about it. Okay, stand by. I have to fact check myself real quick before I say something that's incorrect. Good to see you, Trapper. Appreciate it as always. And again, thank you for always sharing the live stream. Now I got a pretty cool, actually, if you watch that, one of my bosses is in that, what do you call that, place card holder video. Really, really good guy. Okay. So Dubai, huge skyscrapers on fire. One of these huge apartment complexes at the, and I think they're around as far as the capital of the Emirates. Okay. I was going to say Saudi Arabia, but I'm glad Arab Emirates, right? The capital of the Emirate of Dubai. Okay. Y'all should go check that out. And you see there's that huge tanker, and I think that tanker was their destination was China, if I'm not mistaken, at 2 million barrels. Okay. So I hope this war does not expand any further than, just a preemptive defensive strikes to keep them from arming their ballistic missiles with a nuclear warhead. And again, let's use common sense. Is it a possibility? Yes. Does Russia have the ally of Iran have nuclear warheads? Yes. Does China have the ally of Iran nuclear warheads? Yes. Does North Korea have the ally of Iran have nuclear warheads? Yes. All of which I'm sure can be fitted to the same ballistic missiles that were provided to Iran by who? Well, I think mostly from China. And I tell you what, that's a sore spot. That's a big sore spot, as far as I'm concerned. Big sore spot. Now, if that, far as Dubai, let me see here. I have to do a Google search real quick. Okay. Yeah, I don't really need to do that. So if there's a little bit of a mistake there about where that tanker blew up at, I mean, well, not blew up, it was basically attacked. Maybe somebody hit it to blame Israel or whatever, to try to draw China in on this too. I think Xi is smarter than that, and I do think that, of course, President Trump talks to Xi, the leader of China. We don't want war like that. We don't want war. We don't want war with Russia. We want to reinstill peace. Remember, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. And please, if you have a mega platform, don't be going out there and attacking people because, you think we're some type of dumb rubes or something. We don't know what we're talking about. If you listen to some of the stuff, you listen to all of it, you might actually come to a conclusion that some of us do know a little bit about what we're talking about, right? And maybe it will connect one dot that you have missing to put together the bigger picture, right? Maybe just one dot. Maybe that one dot that you can connect, you can help save hundreds of thousands or millions of lives. Maybe that one dot you got off this little RH channel, right, can help us save millions of lives. Take all the credit for it. Pat yourself on the back. Take all the credit. So I did. I'm gonna confess. I'm gonna confess here. A public RH confession. I'm not hiding in a booth or anything. I'm not making fun of those that do or go into a booth, whatever. I'm going to confess here on this live stream, the Area 111 live stream. The host of this channel is going to make a confession to the entire world. I use giant voice broadcast to get the attention of our military leaders and possibly the commander-in-chief to tone this down, because there's people out there that want something a lot worse. I mean, they're talking crazy stuff, taking out all of Iran. Could you imagine if you're a victim of circumstance and you're Iranian citizen or whatever, or Persian, whatever you identify yourself as, and you're there, you have all your family there since way before 1979, before they turned it into an occupied country, and you can't get out, really? Think about all those people that love America. They were our friends, our allies. We had Iranians coming here and actually training here during the Shah of Iran, period. We were giving them military weapons. We gave them the F-14 Tomcat. Very capable aircraft back in the day. So could you imagine you're there and you hear President Trump and they hear their friends in America say, get out of Tehran. and you go to the ATM over there and you try to draw money out of the ATM. No, they took all the money. They shut the banks down. You can't get money to get out. And when you went to go fill up your vehicle, they ration the vehicle gasoline to only 20 liters. No, 20 liters is divided by 3. It's like 3 point something liters to a gallon, a US gallon, right? So you have to divide 20 by 3. That's what, 6 or 7 gallons? How far are you going to drive with 6 or 7 gallons? Iran's a huge country. Okay, RH, what are the RC 135 tankers doing going over to the Middle East? Could it be we're going to help our allies out? We're not involved in the direct military action that Israel's taking on Iran. But look, we're there to protect our own. We have our own interest in theater, and we have American citizens in Israel. We have, by the way, we have American citizens in Iran that probably can't get out either. You know, that I wasn't part of the covert war, you know, like Mission Impossible type stuff, you know. But we got good people, patriotic people in Iran too, as I speak. Bring on your favorite general and ask him if RH is correct. I have no reason to deceive anyone. And every reason to make sure I don't make any mistakes. And if I make a mistake, I go out there and immediately correct it. Yeah. I just want to talk about something, a historical event, the Beirut barracks bombing, where we lost over 200 Marines. We're pretty sure we know who that's tied to. One of the proxies, right? Remember, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Lebanon used to be led by Christians. I think it was a joint leadership. Muslims and Christians both ran Lebanon. I guess they couldn't have that, right? So they couldn't even have American peace troop blue helmets there. They couldn't have that, right? They couldn't have the French having their peacekeepers, their blue helmets there either, right? So they devised it. They made two huge bombs, put them on 2 trucks, and ran them into both barracks. I remember that like it was yesterday. The pictures that came out of that are horrible. Okay, then you got to kind of like have common sense. Is that the people we want to have a nuclear armed ballistic missile? The ballistic missile is the delivery system. It's not the nuclear warhead itself. So say for example, what does it say? Hypothetical situation. We got COVID operators on the ground. Remember, there's still a lot of allies in Iran. So could somebody look up the population of Iran, please? I was going to do that earlier, but I can't get off this device or I'll lose the live stream or I have to refresh it really quick before I lose it. What's the population of Iran? Okay, so let me also remind people we had the embassy in Tel Aviv that had damage. Now, there were no U.S. lives lost in that embassy. It looked like from the video I saw, minor damage, but nevertheless, it was damaged by one of those ballistic missiles, right? It struck near the embassy. It didn't hit the embassy. It would have been a lot worse. And we may have lost people there. I don't know if they were evacuated out of that embassy before that or not. But, Israel, give them credit. At least give them credit for this. They have a very, very good, at least I call it good, civil defense compared to our civil defense in the United States. Where do you know to go to that has a hardened underground like bunker, right? That you can go to for your safety. Where do you know in the United States that you have privilege, unless you're filthy rich, right? That you have, where can you go to an underground, let's say fallout shelter, hardened fallout shelter? You know what a fallout shelter means? Nuclear fallout, right? Or just a bomb shelter. You say, okay, I'm not trying to terrify people, but so all these leaders, they rather have their money put in something that, goes back to these major donors and special interests. They're more concerned with that than building up our infrastructure, strengthening our infrastructure from a cyber attack and all this stuff, strengthen our grid. They're more interested. I hate to say this, but at least it looks that way. They're more interested in diverting all these funds to their special interest groups and large donors. Why? Because they get like it's a boomerang effect, right? A lot of money comes back into their campaigns, right back into their pockets, right? I mean, our civil defense is horrible. It's nearly non-existent. What is our civil defense? Oh, here's your evacuation route. We have that for natural disasters, right? Israel, and whenever there are threats about actually crazy people in our government threatening to nuke Russia, right? Let's see, during Biden's first two terms, they started amping up building their civil defense infrastructure, building these deep underground bunkers, right? Hardened bunkers. Moscow on the surface, you look at Moscow on the surface sometimes, it looks deserted. But go under into the subways. Look at their metro, whatever you call it, subways or whatever, or trains, whatever. Underground trains. Hardened underground, you call them what? Train depots or whatever? Train stations or subway stations. Hardened. I mean, like with granite. Could you imagine the money that was spent for that? I guess they started building that up during the Cold War, right? Seems to be that they care more about their people than the U.S. government cares about us. Maybe it's because it's the mentality, mutually assured destruction. I always hated that term. And then you see those photographs in these articles with children during the Cold War hiding under their desk. Like that's the civil defense they gave us. It's still intact, by the way. Maybe I have to go get one of those school desks myself. I mean, man, I don't mean to be hateful or whatever. Sound like I'm hateful, but could anybody here tell me? Just put a 1. No, just say, do you have a hardened fallout shelter or bomb shelter near you that you can go to? Just say yes in the chat. Please just contribute to the channel. I want to know, because maybe I might think about buying a little tiny piece of land, like maybe 1/10 of an acre. You know, I guarantee all those billionaires already have those hardened whatever bunkers, bomb shelters, whatever. Probably right there. They got an elevator, right? Takes them down 100 stories, and they got a huge little city in there, right? They got Walt Disney playing, right? Disney movies. Self-contained atmosphere. Renewable energy. Oh man. I hope this message gets shared. I mean, so please let President Trump do his job. You know, he's under, could you imagine the pressure he's under? You got all the warmongers out there. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this right now. It's crazy. So everything normally starts around dark 30, at least after dark anyways. 7 hours ahead of us over there in that area, Iran. I don't know if there's multiple time zones in Iran or not. I don't know that. I'm pretty sure there's not in Israel, because Israel's a pretty small country considering the landmass they have. So anyways, now that's cumulonimbus. That's a cumulonimbus cloud. It kind of like looks like a mushroom cloud in a way, right? That's was taken, Miss RH, if you want to call her that. You can if you like. She's not into politics or any of that kind of thing. So, right. So, anyways, yeah, that's in Central Florida, looking to the west. Not saying anything's going to happen in the west. I'm just saying that's a photograph, and it looks, there's a little bit of photoshopping going on. It wouldn't take much to look like a mushroom cloud, a man-made mushroom cloud, not a natural cumulonimbus mushroom cloud. Oh, there's better photographs of an actual mushroom cloud, natural one, a lot better than this one. If you just go out there and do the search yourself, I saw a couple of them, but I have this one because I took it, or Ms. RH took it, right? And I got a copy of it, and I think I was driving at the time, and I pulled over, and I think she's the only one that had a phone or something with a camera on it at the time. I can't remember. But credit to Mrs. RH, she took it. She's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna copyright me. I don't think she's gonna get me under a copyright violation, right? Well, it's kind of funny because I watched how many people are watching, the live stream, and I don't know if it's something I say that's wrong, or people don't stick around, or they got other things to do, or they got the message. I pretty much put out the message already, right? So to sum it up, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know because I don't have the intel. Now, if Iran does have a nuclear warhead and there's intel to prove the fact, right? Maybe that's the reason why they told all the Iranian people to evacuate Tehran, right? To evacuate Tehran, because we're trying to help those people. We're not trying to kill them all. We're not even, I don't think that way. Those that are chanting death to America aren't all of the Iranian citizens, by the way. Some of them say it because they're out of fear. If they don't say it like the rest of them say it, in that group of people, right? They're afraid, maybe. They're afraid. So anyways, yeah, enhanced defensive postures. So you have to do that. And I even heard an analyst just saying, when you're moving aircraft carriers into, oh my God, it's going to be on. You have to have the defensive posture. Look, we are talking about everything. You're talking about the grid going down, providing, certain humanitarian stuff to people, maybe even in Iran. You need a aircraft carrier because it's like a city on the sea, right? A city on the ocean with its own electrical grid. Also, we call it medical clinics inside the carrier. You got doctors there. They don't. It's all self-contained. Everything they need is on that carrier, and they have energy for 25 years before they have to be refreshed. The nuclear energy has to be refreshed. Now, it might be an obsolete. I didn't look up the Nimitz. It's been a long time since I looked at the capabilities of some of these aircraft carriers, but basically, I've been on an aircraft carrier, the Eisenhower, on Family Day, because my cousin was stationed on the Eisenhower in the U.S. Navy. He actually, he's on the team that basically repaired or changed out the tires of the, I think it was F-14s back then. I'm pretty sure they still had F-14s. It's been quite a while ago. So, anyways, could have been the F-18s. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was F-14s and other maybe fighter aircraft as well. and other aircraft. But no, his actually specialty was changing the tires out on the F-14 Tomcats. So that's his specialty. So we went out off the coast of Virginia there for family day, and they basically we went below the deck, and all the aircraft took off. We came back up on the deck so we could watch an air show. I mean, great recruitment thing right there. A great recruitment tactic. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty cool memory. And I remember walking around on that carrier. They don't really actually have central AC and heat. Maybe in what do you call it? CIC they do, but they probably have really good air conditioning. But it's loud in that thing, and you go look at the bunks that they have to, like the bed my cousin had to sleep in, the bunk. I mean, wasn't very big. I'm telling you, it wasn't king size. I think a single bed was bigger than that bunk bed portion he got to sleep in, right? And they work in shifts too, and I think they share the bunk, right? So when you're off your shift, and you gotta sleep, you're there sleeping, and whenever your partner is off his shift and you go on your shift, he's sleeping in that bunk. I'm pretty sure that's the way they handle it. I mean, how many people could and that sound, right, on that ship? I mean, I have sleep insomnia. I don't think I could sleep a single second. I mean, maybe if I didn't sleep for like 2 days straight or 3 days straight, I could probably eventually fall asleep. Oh, man. And I just started thinking how grateful I was to be in the Air Force. Not, I guess you get used to it, right? Especially if you're really young, like we were back then. But anyways, I mean, we're in our 20s, we're talking about the 80s. 80s. So that was really cool experience. So yeah, we got an aircraft carrier going over there. Maybe we have 2 of them. Remember, we have U.S. citizens. I still believe in Israel. And after those strikes near our embassy, with all this No Kings protests and rioting and seeing the people they use for this on our streets, I just hope they don't do anything stupid. Now, on True Social, I know it's a different topic than what I'm talking about now, as far as this Giant Voice broadcast. So what am I talking about again? Giant Voice broadcast. I was hoping the military would see this, but there's a lot of those admirals and generals out there that are a whole lot smarter than I ever will be or I ever was. Not trying to tell you how to do your job or anything like that. Who's going to help with maybe the UN could be useful. Maybe it can set up safe zones for the people that evacuated Tehran and start, that might be why the carrier's going out there first. They got they got hospital beds like on the carrier, right? I don't know how many doctors, so they probably have more doctors assigned to that carrier, the Nimitz that's going out there now, or is probably already there or almost there, wherever they're going to stage. They're there, believe me. And if they should have took Trump's peace deal, they should have took it. All they had to do was invite in the inspectors. But what now? If they're boots on the ground covertly, did they find something? And if they did find something, whether they did or not, it's immaterial based on the weaponry and capability that Iran still has, as far as the ballistic missiles are concerned. And I heard somebody saying, "Oh, the ballistic missiles, they ain't nothing. They're supersonic, whatever. They're not hypersonic." How do they know? If Russia's got hypersonic weapons, right, and aircraft, let's just say weapons, right? I'm pretty sure China has hypersonic weapons. I'm not sure on that one yet. I don't think North Korea has hypersonic missiles, whatever. But let's just say, for example, you have to basically imagine all possible threats. Now, when you're looking at a adversarial type leadership and the allies and the conversations, maybe classified conversations that were basically picked up and recorded, whatever, and you hear some chatter about that weapon capability, or something picks up as far as another means of reconnaissance, we don't know all that stuff. I have trust, as far as President Trump goes, that it's going to be reciprocal. And he's just wanting to defend our assets in theater, right? That's all he's trying to do. If we wanted to, we could have already been working directly with Israel's IDF and conducting strikes inside Iran. We did not do that. Donald Trump does not want to get us in another war like that. He doesn't want us to get into war with Russia and Ukraine. But there's a lot of people what do they think in our own government? What are they thinking? Are they thinking, if, okay, we have World War III, all their troubles will just go away, as far as all this criminal activity that's gone on for all these years, especially from January 20th of 2021 to January 20th of 2025. I mean, it's just out of control theft of taxpayer money. We're talking about billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Maybe even in the trillions. We don't know. Know how much money really went to, as far as that budget goes, that covert budget. We don't know what went into Ukraine. Did some of our tax money go to paying for assassin teams that want to show up and, do a kind of like a butler type thing? That's how crazy these people are. No, because Doge found them out and proved a lot of things we've been saying about for years. We're talking about decades. We've been talking about the theft of our tax dollars, diverting our congressionally allocated tax dollars to things like securing the border, They diverted it for environmental restoration of all things. So somebody got rich off of that. And then what did they do? They sold the wall material as government surplus, pennies on the dollars, right? Penny on the dollar. And they welded open the gates on the border so people can just walk without any deterrence whatsoever and just walk into our country. Unvetted. So basically, we need everyone's prayers. Put a hedge of protection around our country, put a hedge of protection around Israel and Iran, because we don't want to destroy Iran. That's the furthest from our minds. Who's been calling publicly for the destruction of the United States for over, 40 years? Remember? Do we recall? Do we have total recall? Death to America? What about Ahmadinejad? It's going to turn America into a blazing inferno. How do you think you do that? Wipe Israel off the map. How do you think you do that? How do you think you're going to turn America into a blazing inferno? With nuclear weapons. It's obvious. That's what death to America. And by the way, for all these people out there that support that current regime over there in Iran, whether they're still in power or not, whose side are you on anyways? Oh, Iran wasn't going to use nuclear weapons. All right. Oh, Israel conducted an unprovoked strike on Iran. Oh, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, because his numbers was going down, they allowed the attack on October 7th of 2023. It was an inside job. It's ridiculous. Israel, just like the president said, isn't it amazing how everybody wants to say, oh, Donald Trump is behind the attacks on Iran? It's not Israel at all. It's not Israel at all. They don't have no capabilities at all. It's America. America attacked Iran, and Trump and Bibi is working together. Trump is working with Bibi for our own interest, to protect our people. Bibi is protecting his people the best he can, whether you like him or not. What if, let's just say, have one of those what if moments, right? That October 3rd, 2023 wasn't in Israel. It was something closer to home. Oh, would that be all right then? The neocons want to start a war. Oh, yeah, that'll give them the ammunition, right? I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be reciprocal. Nowhere near. Remember, there was a drone shut down over the Persian Gulf. Iran claimed it was their waters, right? They shot down a drone, and you had John Bolton and all these people calling for a strike, like a huge strike on Iran and start war because they shot down an unmanned drone. Yeah, a very expensive unmanned drone. I give that to them, but what did Donald Trump say? He said, I'm going to start an effing war. I'm going to start an effing war. I could have used the term, but it's not very Christian-like, so I'll refrain from using it. But they don't mind using it. Starts with Moron. Wow. That's not very Christian-like. I admit it. Excuse me. Pardon me. Remember at the Al Smith dinner, charity dinner? When President Trump was going up there to speak, Hillary Clinton walked by and he actually brushed against her, and he said, pardon me. And he said, well, after I'm president, I can pardon you. It was a classic Trump. Go check out the Al Smith dinner, the roast, the Clinton roast. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. It's classic. I mean, I hope one day after all this, hopefully just blows over and we get back control of people having their senses in these governments to stop these wars, needless wars. Let's do a trade deal. Hey, come on. That's Trump. That's Trump. Classic Trump. Donald Trump is a fascist. Man, they need to go back to school. Donald Trump is reincarnated Adolf Hitler. Donald Trump's trying to destroy our democracy when we're not even a democracy. I just heard that again. Oh, we don't want to be a republic. Why? Because Iran, IRGC, whatever. It's what? Iraq? They consider themselves a republic, so that's what we were set up to be. A constitutional republic. I shouldn't even have to say constitutional. It's Article 4, Section 4. Everybody can go read it. Go read why the founders were against a mob rules democracy, and then relate that to the mobs, the so-called summer of love in 2020 and 2025. Did that have anything to do with love? It had absolutely nothing to do with love. It might be maybe sexual when you're talking about a certain flag, but that didn't have anything to do with love. When they're throwing bricks and funding pallets of bricks to be delivered so you can bust somebody's head wide open. Okay, so we have 5 viewers, and I hope if you can, please share this, the Rumble link, if you can. Remember, this is a law and order channel. I have to say that every time. I'm not supporting violence, okay, at all. Lawlessness at all. Violent lawlessness. I do not support that at all. Okay? I do support national defense and self-defense 100%. I don't support national offense, but if you're in war and you're put in that predicament, if it's an offensive strike, yes, you have to take out the threat. You have to take out the threat. The legitimate threat. Now, how do we determine whether it's a legitimate threat? Well, let's see. If you see somebody rolling out a ballistic missile, kind of like a, for example, just an example, an intercontinental ballistic missile, and you see them being fueled up, right? Readied, it's armed, right? And they're about to light the fuse. I'm pretty sure that's going to be taken out really, really quick. Very, 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 very quick. You know, there's ways to know, and these people are geniuses. And you think about Musk, right? And how those, what do you call those boosters that basically separate, and then I think it's the boosters that come back and fly right back down on that platform, right? And how they're captured. It's like amazing, you know, it's crazy. But anyways, reusable boosters, I guess they call it. I don't know. So, or let's see, you start seeing all these bomber aircraft starting to basically, you see a bunch of troops running, the pilots running to these, and crew running to all these bomber aircraft, like the Bears. MiG-25s, MiG-32s, whatever they call them. You start seeing them all prepare, right? They unplug the generators. The ground crew salutes them. You know, and we have the surveillance that they're armed with nuclear weapons, nuclear warheads, cruise missiles, whatever. I'm guessing. So let's just make another guess. I'm pretty sure President Trump notified China and notified Russia, possibly notified let's see, North Korea of our intentions. Maybe other world leaders too said, "Don't worry, I'm not a crazy guy here," right? This is for defensive posture only. I can't speak for the president. Sometimes I wish that message would be clear, but we do have the capability there to basically give that regime over there a very, very, very bad headache. So, you know, if you think about all these years, the IEDs and all that stuff, I want to read something real quick again. I talked about it yesterday. Oh, I'm still watching the place card holder video, but we're still live on Rumble. That's good. Trapper over here holding down the fort. Trapper over here sharing the live stream links. Trapper all by yourself up. Oh no, there's one other person. It's me, you, and one other person. So I'm one of those three that are viewing the Rumble live stream right now. This is crazy, man. You know, we should be having thousands of people listening to this stuff. I mean, to be honest, at least Trapper, you're here. You can respond in the live chat on Rumble. Does some of the information I put out, have you heard it actually on other channels? Remember back in the day, I was having like 3,000 viewers for one live stream? They do not want me to get monetized over, especially over there on YouTube. They deplatform me and always keep my subs around 450 over there on YouTube. You know, you need 500 to be monetized, right? Minimum of 500 subs to be monetized. So this, they don't want RH to spread his wings and fly, right? No, no, no. We can't have it. We don't like you, RH. You're one of those people that believe in God, you know. You're one of those Christian people. I don't know what it is, but, you know, I'm not whining about it. It's kind of funny. It went down to only one viewer. Was that 3? When I started talking about it, went down to 1. Trapper, did you leave? So let's see here. Okay. Now I'm not saying to go all out. This happened way back in 1983. The Beirut barracks bombings plural. On October 23rd, 1983, 2 truck bombs were detonated at buildings in Beirut, Lebanon, housing American and French service members of the multinational force in Lebanon, a military peacekeeping operation during the Lebanese Civil War. The attacks killed 307 people, 241 U.S. and 58 French military personnel, 6 civilians, and 2 attackers. Early that Sunday morning, the first suicide bomber detonated a truck bomb at the building serving as a barracks for the 1st Battalion, 8th Marines of the 2nd Marine Division, killing 220 Marines, 18 sailors, 3 soldiers, making this incident the deadliest single-day death toll for the United States Marine Corps since the Battle of Iwo Jima in World War II, and the deadliest single-day death toll for the United States Armed Forces since the first day of the Tet Offensive in the Vietnam War. Another 128. Americans were wounded in the blast. 13 later died of their injuries, and they are counted among the number who died. An elderly Lebanese man, a custodian vendor who was known to work and sleep in his concession stand next to the building, was also killed in the first blast. The explosives used were later estimated to be equivalent to as much as 12,000 pounds of TNT. Minutes later, a second suicide bomber struck the 9-story Drakkar building a few kilometers away, where the French contingent was stationed. 55 paratroopers from the 1st Parachute Chasseur Regiment and 3 paratroopers of the 9th Parachute Chasseur Regiment were killed and 15 injured. It was the single worst French military loss since the end of the Algerian War. The wife and 4 children of the Lebanese janitor at the French building were also killed, and more than 20 other Lebanese civilians were injured. A group called the Islamic Jihad claimed responsibility for the bombings and said that the aim was to force the multinational force out of Lebanon. What were they there to do? They were a peacekeeping force. They were not there to conduct military strike operations. They were blue helmets. They were all murdered. It wasn't an act of self-defense. They bombed those barracks, both of those barracks. It was an act of terrorism. And we learned from the attack on October 7th of 2023 and what later ensued, right? As far as the proxies are concerned, we know who was funding the operations. And U.S. Treasury has a way of finding out too. Go figure, huh? Some analysts highlights the role of Hezbollah and Iran, calling it a Iranian operation from top to bottom. Okay. The attacks did what they were designed to do. That action terrorism did what it's designed to do. The peacemakers, they never basically replaced our men and women or men that died in that operation with other peacemakers, other troops, basically part of the peacekeeping operation wearing the blue helmets. Okay. All right. There's been a lot more detailed investigation. Now, if you go to this Wikipedia article, when it talks about possibly the Hezbollah involved in it, and basically a proxy of you know who, if you go down and you go to that where it says, okay, some analysts highlights the role of Hezbollah and Iran, calling it an Iranian operation from top to bottom. Now, I can't click on that source reference, okay, but there's one there. You might want to go check it out. There's more information that came to light after this information here. Okay, so I'm going to check this out after the live stream because I don't want to lose the link, okay? So anyways, again, we're fairly sure that it was Hezbollah and not to false witness, whether they're not involved or not. We know their ties. And you think about all the people that have died of IEDs alone, right? And where those IEDs came from. I mean, that should be all we have to say. So we have to have the proper defenses in position in case to basically thwart one of those attacks. So they got our men and women in uniform. They have a big job, a very big job. And please don't let these warmongers, don't give these warmongers the gasoline, right? Don't give them the ammunition. Don't let them take control, because I guarantee it, these warmongers, they got some trigger, itchy button fingers and itchy trigger fingers. Believe me, they do. I've heard some of them call for a preemptive nuclear strike on Russia before the special military operation began, or the invasion, however you want to call it. You have a right to say what. Yeah, military invasion. Okay, let's call it like that. We're against that. We're against Russia invading Ukraine, right? But they facilitated and directed an invasion into our country for 4 years straight. Oh my goodness. What did they think was going to happen? My goodness. What do you think was going to happen? Maybe train derailments? Sabotage of our energy infrastructure? Sabotage of dairy farms? Let's see. Chicken farms? Attacks on our agriculture? Bringing in bioweapons like fungus? I mean, use your imagination. Okay. So, in my opinion, for people to calm down, remember, if we put out this clickbait, fear porn, they call it, right? The current leaders over there, they might believe it's real. They might do a Hail Mary. They might help mutual assured destruction, right? They might help it along. Somehow a lot of those people, they believe that, I'm not saying anybody in particular. Some individuals actually believe that there's going to be some type of orgy that they're going to go be part of. You know what I mean? That's all. You know what I'm talking about. Not being disrespectful. A lot of good people out there, but some people, are they given in marriage when they go to what's the Bible say about it? I don't think you're going to be able to get married in heaven. And I think that's biblical. Somebody could share the scripture verse. I'm sure I could find it. But please let the professionals, please do not cause this fear porn and stop denigrating the service of good men and women in uniform. They got a hard job to do as it is. Okay? Or denigrating our country. I mean, these are people in our country. U.S. citizens denigrating our country and those that are out there risking their lives to help keep us all safe. That includes first responders. That includes our police, our law enforcement, military, three-letter agency people that are honest and patriots, and they're not behind murdering people. And war, what happened? What they say about war, right? Okay. So hopefully people calm down a little bit, and I know it's horrible, and I hope y'all share this live stream. So, and again, these are my opinions. The tanker aircraft are needed for defensive postures, enhanced defensive postures. So I've already said that to protect. Remember, we got American military bases in Iraq. We got allies over there. We got to protect our own. We got people in Israel. I'm pretty sure about 100,000 U.S. citizens either living or both living there and or are tourists there. Remember, they have the four quarters where in Jerusalem, where you have the Muslims praying, worshiping freely. You have the Christians worshiping freely. You have the Jewish people worshiping freely. And you have the Armenians worshiping freely. Wow, go figure. Go figure, right? It's amazing how many people don't even know that. Okay. Remember, in God we trust. Trust but verify everybody else. Remember, we have the majority. We have the majority. And don't fall for the trap, divide and conquer. Don't fall for their traps, divide and conquer, right? Okay, so with that said, this ends the live stream. Thank you, and God bless. Bye.